Okay, hello everyone. I am Gunjan Paneri. I guess I'm audible to all of you. Okay, so I'm the president of Gola Behsas, and today Gola Behsas here. We are back with our first event, that is Prerna. So Prerna ain't no stopping us, which aims to uplift the girls which are the from weaker section of society, to uplift them and to help them to grow in their respective fields. Also to motivate them in their respective fields. So here we are with the achievers who have achieved milestones, who have cracked milestones in their lives. So, firstly, I would like to welcome our respective worthy guest speakers. Firstly, I would like to welcome Tanya. She is a certified commercial pilot trained in Arizona, USA. She began her professional journey in media industry with modeling, writing and directing, large and short films, Content Factory, Scoop Whoop. She also runs an NGO. She works alongside in Liverpool University, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, UNICEF and UN Foundation's Girl Up. Next, I would like to welcome Anuradha Chawla. She is a published author and uh, sorry. She is a published author and a co-author of a book that made sorry. Yeah. I'm audible to you all, right? Okay, great. So Anuradha is a published author and a co-author of a book that have made their mark on Amazon and many global portals. She is also a certified coach, a business consultant, a mentor with Startup Punjab. She is an international speaker with NITTR, Ministry of HRD, Government of India. She is an advisory academy board of MHM, a renowned hospitality institute. She is also a Punjab State President of Life Skills Council, Women's India Chamber of Commerce and Industry WICCI. Next, I would like to call Sana. She, after securing a business degree from England, she joined her family business in India. Her passion lies in yoga, fitness, and caring for environment. She is the founder of Community Embark, a networking venture in health and wellness space. She also started a yoga page on Instagram, Yogi Gone Green, through which she aspires to inspire people to live a healthier and happier life. Also, we have Charu. She is currently designing experiences to empower customer engagement of Google products. She is a UX designer at Google. Before that, at Microsoft, she designed the first Microsoft Office app. She started her journey in the startup space at Zomato. Zomato. Started her journey in startup space at Zomato. She designed experiences for Zomato Gold, Zomato Consumer App, and a lot more. We also have Karen. She is a digital marketing professional with 8 plus years of experience in virtual assistance and social media management. She is a blogger, a social media influencer, and a podcast host who interviews digital marketers related to her industry, which includes entrepreneurship, leadership, and personality development. Also, we have Dimple along with us. She is a technical blogger who turned to model applied psychologist and spiritual counselor. She gives a little push to your muffled inner voice, while her 8 years of experience of corporate experience gave her the opportunity to work with multinational corporations like Cisco and among others in different cultures. She thinks that we should stop judging ourselves to stop judging others. We create a supportive environment for all to grow and become better life and of little value to others. She also learned from her journey that every experience shapes you up, makes you a bit better, so put a bit of your heart into whatever you do, because everything comes back. We have Pragati Gupta with us. She is a professional content creator, a copywriter who helps businesses to transform ideas to powerful words and convert readers into customers. She is an MBA graduate specialized in marketing, combining creative writing ability and advertising skills. She writes a copy that sells. Now, I would like to hand over it to Saransh. And can
Uh, uh, am I audible? Yep. So is that the echo? Is that the echo? I think I guess.
Saransh, you can start.
So I guess it's clear. Thank you, Gunjan. It has always been a pleasure to work with you all guys, and it's an honor to be with all such dignitaries. So without any further ado, I would like to call Stanya to share her views and share her experience on and her journey with us. Thank you, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Please.
Thank you, Saransh, and thank you, Gunjan, for the lovely introduction. Is my voice getting as well?
Yes.
No, it's okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to try unmuting. Is this causing an echo again? Okay, I'm going to try.
You can close the stream yard. I guess it was the reason of echoing.
Yes, I've just done that. Is this better?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So once again, thank you, Saransh, and thank you, Gunjan, for the lovely introduction. So when the team of Prerna reached out to me and asked me to share my personal journey and talk about the difficulties that I've shared or the obstacles that I've overcome in my personal life with the hope that it may motivate some of you, I thought it's a very daunting task. Even as somebody who works as a motivational speaker, to have to share your own personal journey sometimes can be very overwhelming. So I spent some time thinking about what difficulty should I talk about. I thought, should I talk about the first difficulty that I ever had to overcome in my life, which was pretty much from the time that I was born. Because I was born in a violent household where my mother and I were beaten up for the smallest things, when we were not able to live up to the expectations that were put onto us. And talk about how I overcame that by learning how to stand up for myself at the age of 15. Then I thought maybe I should talk about the second difficulty that I had to face in my life, which was as an obese teenager. Now, growing up in the 90s, I think all of us understand how an obese teenager would be bullied at school. But not only was I bullied at school, I was also bullied at home, made to feel inadequate, made to feel bad, made to feel ugly to the point that I almost hated myself. But I found a way of turning that into motivation to build a healthier me. However, I took all of my 20s to heal, to be able to find a way to accept myself and get to truly loving myself. While I was healing, what I didn't realize is that I was projecting a lot of this internalized pain and trauma into every other aspect of my life. Now, whether that is a relationship, whether it was my work, even my friendships. And this I realize today, and I see this today, that all of us do this. We are living something I call an anxious life. We are simply reacting, constantly projecting all the internalized pain, trauma, and belief systems that we hold on to, while we end up blaming other people for their behavior. Over a course of time, I started practicing mindful thinking. And with mindful thinking, what I realized is that, just give me a second, I'm going to mute. Sorry, coming back to this. So yes, over a period of time, I started practicing mindful thinking. And with mindful thinking, I realized that when somebody else disrespected me or when somebody else behaved badly, that feeling of being disrespected actually came from my internal insecurities. It came from a lack of a healthy relationship with myself. It was me who was attaching so much value to other people's behaviors. And I realized that while the behavior was somebody else's choice, how to react to it was my choice. And had I not taken the time to heal, if I had continued to project that negativity and the internalized trauma into my life, I would have continued to feed this cycle of negativity. A cycle of negativity that I see around me almost every day, right? But I made a decision, I made a choice, and by simply practicing and being mindful of where my reactions are coming from, where my feelings are coming from, I could stop that cycle of pain with myself. And I could create a cycle of love and positivity around me. Now, I talk about this word I chose, right? To choose or make a choice. This reminds me of a saying that I often quote. Abraham Maslow said that we must overcome fear again and again. We must choose growth again and again. Now, remember this quote when I talk about my professional journey. While I was healing, I also chose a very unconventional profession for myself. Now, my education was extremely different. As Gunjan already mentioned, that I'm a commercial pilot, I've graduated in business. But when I returned to India, I started my career in the media industry as a model, as a writer, and a director. Something I hadn't studied. I had absolutely no experience in this field, and I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do because I knew nobody in the industry. But I had a flair for writing. I had a love for storytelling. And most importantly, what I had was the knowledge that I had to choose growth again and again, that I had to overcome fear again and again. However, today, all of us live in a world that is built on fear. Now, since we are growing up, we are taught to fear failure, to fear rejection, to fear being an outcast or, not fitting in. We live under this pressure to look like we have it all figured out, like we are perfect. Everything we say is correct. We know it all. We're always right. Living under this immense pressure of failure, we have absolutely stopped trying. We choose the safe path. We choose a road that has been traveled 1,000 times so we know exactly which turn to take and when. We aren't curious anymore. We don't let passion drive us. And even if we do, the first obstacle, the first failure, the first rejection, and we quickly take shelter under the umbrella of the norm, the accepted, the tried and tested. We live our lives believing that when a child is born, it should know how to run. But does it? Or does it begin by crawling and standing and falling 1,000 times before it can walk a mile? Imagine if every child had to grow up under this unbelievable pressure of running with perfection with the very first step that it took. What would happen? I think we would all probably end up living in our diapers even in our 30s, too afraid to take that first step towards failure. When I started out in the industry, did I not fail? 100 times. I spent 2 years writing. I poured my heart and soul into every script that I wrote. When I stepped out and I showcased my work, I failed. I was rejected time and again. But every rejection, every failure was my food for growth. As we learned in neurolinguistic programming, there is no failure. There's only feedback. And what is feedback if not food for growth? With every rejection, I actively asked for feedback so I could work on it. I could learn from it and I could grow from it. So I could become better and work towards or walk towards success. As Ariana Huffington says, that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is, in fact, a very important part of success. So if there is one thing that I could tell you, it is this: live your own truth. You aren't here to live somebody else's story. You aren't here to walk down somebody else's path. You are here to travel your own journey. You're here to unravel your own mysteries and find your own truth. And this is our truth. To embrace our uniqueness, to embrace our vulnerabilities. We are not here to be perfect. We are not here to compete with each other. We are not here to do what's done. What's done is done. We are here to be us, to make our own path, a new path, to make our own choices, to reason, to question, to find our own right and wrongs, to find our own good and bad, to be curious, to try new things, to make mistakes, to fail over and over again, and to choose growth over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great speech, And I would like to request you all who are watching, please spam hearts and claps for ma'am, and keep appreciating our speakers, because they are working hard, and they are like coming here between their schedule and making time for us. So now, thank you, ma'am. So now, next, I would like to invite Anuradha, ma'am, to express her thoughts. Ma'am, please.
Hi everyone, thank you Saransh for inviting me over. Can I first request all the beautiful women here to please switch on their videos? Let's talk to each other and let's start with one quote from my book, Women Are Men with a Wow Factor. So let's just clap for ourselves and let's all see each other, because the conversation and the sharing of introduction will be much easier. What do you say, Saransh?
Exactly.
Charu, can we see you? You were looking very bright. Tanya, that was an amazing introduction. Thank you so much, ladies. Let's first clap for all of you, and especially Tanya, for an amazing introduction. She's a real I'll say she has struggled a lot and made her mark in the industry. Start from, I'll divide my journey in three sections. My childhood has been, I was like, we were four sisters and one brother. So a huge family, but then not very much, I didn't get a lot of attention during my childhood because of the huge family, and always there was something or the other. Parents were busy with that. An average student, but an amazing sports person. So I have played at nationals in all the games. Actually, if I say basketball, then all the athletic sports. I was a runner. So my childhood was all dedicated to sports, and sports kept me going and gave me that die-hard attitude to keep trying. Even if I fail, I have to take it as an experience and move ahead. So that's a lot about my childhood. I had been a tomboy. I never had a lot of girlfriends. All the girlfriends I had, they are still very, very good friends of mine, even after 3 decades. And then my college time, I got married. Like, I went into a college and I got married. So at 19, I was courting my now husband. So we were in courtship for 1.5 years, and then we got married. So I got my degree after I got married. That's how. So at 19, I got married. At 20, I had my son. This is my journey on a personal level, and I was learning a lot about life, that life is not all bed of roses where you just get into a love life and then everything is being taken care of. No, it never happens like that. It's a huge struggle. You have to make both ends meet. You have to put your 100% in the relationship, in your career, to make a happy family, and you need to maintain a lifestyle as well. So for me and my husband, the start was very rough, because the first business we got into was not very successful, and we were in a debt of 10 lakhs, and we were like, now what? So all the love stories and all the beautiful dreams were kept aside, and we both got into the rut of making money. I'm repeating it, making money, to build a house, to give a great schooling to my children. And that's the struggle we started at 20. And he had to move to Delhi to make his career. I was here totally into my career. I joined HDFC Bank. For good 1 year I worked there. Then I joined a software company. And in the software company, I got a lot of growth, because I started handling a lot of hats. I was into administration, into HR, into processes, into ISO. So a lot of opportunities, and of course a lot of struggle as well. So I don't know how these 15 years just happened. I was traveling between three states in India, in Maharashtra, in Uttarakhand, and in Punjab. So all three locations I was managing as an operations person, operations head, HR head. And I got a chance to travel a lot during this because I was hiring students from across the country. So that was a very, very good exposure. So all my friends watching me here, please learn that traveling makes you very, very, very wise. So I got a lot of exposure due to the traveling. Then I was a trekker because being a sports person, I'm very hyper. I really, really need to shake a little and move around, and I can't sit and just relax. No, that's not me. So the Anuradha you are talking to is a climber. I have climbed the third highest peak of the world, Kanchenjunga, and I've done all the major peaks in Himachal, in Uttarakhand, and I really wish to climb Fuji Tower, Fuji, but Mount Fuji is going to be a distant dream with all the COVID situation. So that's how my career, you can say, it flourished. But while I was struggling and I made a good lifestyle for myself, I had a list. We were giving a very good schooling to our son. Then I had my own house. Me and my husband, we have a beautiful, warm house. Then I invested in my SUV, which was my dream. But then, after achieving everything, I was like, now, what next? Because these dreams are fulfilled, but I'm still struggling in my own self because I wasn't sure that this is what I wanted. I wanted something else which would give me peace, contentment, happiness. So that's where I started my real journey, and that's the most important part of my life when I got into some discourses and some workshops across the globe. Wherever I could catch hold of a good mentor, I would surrender and I would try to learn as much as I could. And that's where I met one of my mentors who coached me to be a life coach. And while I was doing that, I realized that my dream was helping people, reaching out to people, and giving them the treasure that I could learn from my mentors. So I'm an Art of Living follower, and I learned a lot from Sri Sri. I learned from Arfin Khan. I've also learned from these sister Shivani and Sudhanshuji. So I used to hear all of them, and I realized that Sudhanshuji is more like Del Carnegie of India because his content was amazing. That's where I realized that all I was doing, minting money in a corporate, was actually for people to realize that yes, I'm successful. But if I look at myself, I never felt successful just earning money. So that is when I started looking for my passion, and I realized helping people, making them have a good lifestyle is what I was really looking for. Gardening is my thing. Watching nature and being in nature is my thing. Climbing big mountains is what I live for. So everyone actually needs to find that out, and I'm lucky and I'm blessed that God gave me that wisdom to realize. And that's when I started transforming my own life, learning a lot. And while I did that, I thought, why not jot it down in some words? While I was doing that, I compiled this book. This is Life Lessons by Coach Anuradha. So this is the book I made. Then I also spoke to my friends who were in coaching, and I asked them to why not share their journeys of transformation so that they can inspire others. That's when we wrote our second book. This is my second book. Both are available on so on this Amazon, Flipkart, and all Kobo, everywhere, Kindle. These are globally available across the countries. So this is how, when you feel like you should share what you have learned, it just comes on paper. You don't have to be a degree holder or an honors to write. I am an English elective graduate, and from Punjab University. I'm a psychology graduate, but still, I don't think those degrees or this skills is something that has transformed my lives. And I'm lucky to say that I have transformed more than 500 lives after my own life was transformed. So this is my journey as a seeker, as a coach, as an author, as an author. So friends, when you start living for everyone around you, then sky is the limit for you. You just feel like sharing, and while sharing, you never get to know that how it is benefiting you as well. So my journey started when I realized that success is not in dollars, but success is something very, very personal to you. What is your definition of success? I hope you had liked my journey. And if there are any questions about being an author, how to transform your life, how to lose weight, how to be happy in life, I'm your person and I can really help you out in that. So, Saransh, if that is enough, I think my fellow speakers would like to pitch in now.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. And thank you so much, ma'am. It was really very good. And I'm quite sure कि यहाँ पे बैठे सभी लोगों
Thank
को
you.
काफी पंप अप मिला होगा इस स्पीच से एंड लोगों को आगे बढ़ने की लाइक इंस्पिरेशन मिली होगी. So thank you so much, ma'am. And now
Thank you
next,
so much.
thank you. It will now be the turn of Karen, ma'am, to give us some insights on her thoughts and to tell her story. So, ma'am, please.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Saranj and Gunjan, for inviting me here. It's my honor to be here. Hello, ladies. It's so nice to see you all, to meet you all. Greetings from the Philippines. I am actually from the Philippines. I don't know if I think I am the only one who's from the Philippines, because I think all of you are from India. So hi, hello. So talking about my personal experience, well, I came from a broken family. So since I was a child, so my mom and dad broke up, and my grandma was the one who raised me. So ever since I was a child, I've learned to be strong, to be an independent woman. And then talking about my career, before I started working as a virtual assistant, I started blogging back in 2010. So that was the time when blogging was so popular back then. So it serves as my online diary where I share everything from my personal experience and my journey online. So it's my passion. So I love to write and share my thoughts to my readers. And that was a time when uh, blogging was so popular. I actually earned money from blogging before. And during that time, I became part of the blogging community and I gained some friends. And that's where I also earned money from blogging. So from passion to profit. So this is where I started earning money online through blogging. And then I discovered that there are so many online opportunities out there where you can earn money aside from blogging. So my blogger friends advised me to try out applying for a virtual assistant role on the VA companies here in the Philippines. And so this is where I started my journey of being a virtual assistant. And then, but my journey was not that easy. So that's my obstacles that I have faced. As I got into my career, there were several times that I did not get the job that I hoped for. So I received a lot of rejections, but I did not let my rejections define me because I believe that being rejected from something is being redirected to something even better. So I just keep on going. I did not stop. And then what I did was I developed my skill sets because being a VA requires to have a multiple skill sets. And of course, being a VA, you must have the quality of being resourceful. You must take the initiative. And of course, you are very eager to learn new things. So that's what I did. I keep on learning because the moment that you keep on learning, you keep on growing. So as the years go by, since I've been working for the past, I think almost 9 years already as a VA, things are going pretty well with my job. But then I also went through a difficult time emotionally, following the passing of my husband. Yes, my husband passed away more than a year ago. So it really took me some time to deal with the pain of loss and heartache. Because, being a widow of such a young age, I am 37, by the way, and I have a 13-year-old daughter. It was not easy. So I feel like I've lost half of my life because I lost my husband. I feel so alone, so broken, so devastated. But I have to be strong, and I need to be strong, and life has to go on with me. So it was really a difficult period for me. Plus, the pandemic came, and I even lost some of my clients. So I find a way how I could get more clients. So then I started being active on LinkedIn. So I think that this is actually I've been on LinkedIn a few years ago, but I find this platform so boring because I thought people there are so serious and they're like all professionals. But then I discovered that there are a lot of tremendous opportunities on LinkedIn. So there I started to build meaningful connections. I started to collaborate with my connections. And then I started to build my personal brand on LinkedIn. Because I was thinking, how could I stand out from the crowd? Because, literally, there are a lot of highly skilled, talented, experienced VAs in the Philippines and even in India. Because I know that these two countries are the most sought countries for outsourcing jobs. So what I did is that I created a strategy on how I could stand out from the crowd. So yes, I did some strategy on how that I could get noticed from clients. But I tell you, at first it was uneasy for me because one of my strategies is to create a video content to post on my LinkedIn profile. And I am not comfortable with camera. Like I have a fear of being in front of the camera. I'm not a coach. I'm not like I'm always behind the scene. As a virtual assistant, I'm always behind the scene. So I'm not comfortable. But what I did is that I took a risk and put myself out there to try new things. So that's what I did. I keep on building my brand. And then I started doing collaborations with my connections on LinkedIn. So this is where I started having my own podcast. So I interviewed digital marketing experts related to my industry, and they became my good friends. They became my mentors in helping me build my brand. And then as I keep on building my online presence, my brand, this is also where I started having some clients. So most of my clients right now they're all from LinkedIn. Because it's really so amazing because for many of the VAs, they're the ones who are like looking for a job, looking for what they call this, all the job postings on the VA companies out there, like on Upwork or any other what they call this online jobs. But what really amazes me is instead that I am the one reaching out to the clients are the one who's reaching out for me. So that's what amazes me on LinkedIn. So um, what even amazes me is that during the pandemic, this is where my business starts to grow. So since my business is growing, I decided to have a team who's gonna work with me. So right now I have two ladies who's working with me. They're actually college students. So I train them to do what I've been doing and delegate the task to them. So here are the three things that I would like to share. What I have learned as I took the leap into entrepreneurship. So first is you must get comfortable of being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable means find new opportunities to improve your strategies and come up with something innovative, something creative, and something that you have never done before. And then the second one is you need to experience something new. So stepping out on your comfort zone can be daunting, can be like so scary. But in order for you to grow, you need to put your energy into things that you have never done. And then number three is you need to be consistent. So just keep doing what you're doing, trust in the process, and know that eventually you will get there. And then you need to challenge yourself by trying to do something that's too hard for you. And then be obsessed over learning. Just keep on trying new things and figuring something out. Because if you are willing to try new things, if it doesn't work, and then just don't give up and just do it again, right? Because I believe that people who achieve huge goals have dreams. But more importantly, they create the process, they build the systems, and they create strategies, and they consistently take the right steps over time. they ensure that they will reach their ultimate goal. So if you are determined to achieve your goals, you will absolutely reap the rewards of your hard work. I believe in that. And then determination also is the key to achieve and reach greater heights. So just enjoy the journey, embrace the challenges and obstacles along the way, and realize that when you achieve your success, it will be that much sweeter because of the journey that you decided to take. So it's the time to start striving for the things that you fear. Just step out on your comfort zone with courage and determination, because you'll never know if you give up now. You'll never know how close you were to your breakthrough, right? For in my case, from my brokenness leads to my breakthrough. So just keep on going. Ain't no stopping us now, ladies. We are on the move. So take massive action, and no matter what obstacles, keep on going. Just put your energy and focus on what's to come next and not what behind you. So dream big and take massive action because I know that you can do it. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen ma'am. And to quote her saying, I would like to say, every time I thought I was being rejected from something good, I was actually being redirected to something better. So thank you so much, ma'am. And it's been a
Yep.
really pleasure. The next dignitary to honor us with her presence is Charu ma'am. Ma'am, please, can you?
Yeah, hi everyone, and thank you, Karen, for sharing your story. And I'm actually really inspired by it. So I'm really glad to be a part of this forum with all these amazing women. So thank you for inviting me as well. So for my story, I would like to start with four things: dal chawal, vada pav, butter chicken, and chicken biryani. So, what do you think? One thing which is common about all these? You can speak up.
दाल
Okay.
चावल
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I think I don't know if you all are. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am. Most
Okay. Okay.
probably it is, yep, it's yummy food.
Food. Yes. Yes. Okay. So yes. As we all know, like these are four favorite Indian foods, right? But for me, actually, it's a lot more than that. And these are actually representation of course, my four favorite food items, but also four places in India where I lived in, and four phases of my life. So I today I want to take you back to these chapters of my life, and thank you everyone for joining. So the first phase, which I call the vada pav, which I call the dal chawal phase, is because actually I was born in a small town in Madhya Pradesh, and as the usual middle class Indian family, our daily food is was supposed to be dal chawal every day. So I was born and brought up eating that, and at that time, I was born with a twin brother, and we were generally like sharing books and everything. So I was very collaborative since beginning, and yeah, and after that, I was in generally like what happens in Indian families, like the representation, only representation of how smart you are is based on how much you're scoring, right? Like how what are your marks like, and what are your grades. And of course that was happening with me as well. And I was not I would say I was not bad, but I was also not great at it. So I was just doing okay. So my family was a bit worried because I was always a kid who's into my own things and not really bothered about scoring really high marks or anything. I was smart, but I didn't really care about it so much. So they used to be worried. And I remember one of my uncles at that time, I spoke to him and he told me that, Beta, you live in India and you can only be two things, either a engineer or a doctor. So don't think much about it, but just go for it. So I was like, I didn't want to be both both the two. So I wanted to do something else, but I wasn't really sure because being at that time like in Madhya Pradesh, we didn't have access to a lot of information. So somehow I came to know about NIFT, and that really changed my life because I didn't know that design existed as a field, and I kind of gave the exams without any like preparation, and I just went ahead with it, and surprisingly I got into it. And one of the, I think, inspirations for that was a movie which came out at that time, which was called Three Idiots. So what happened was like we all went in to watch the movie, and there was this dialogue in the movie which was like success के पीछे मत भागो, talent के पीछे भागो, which means that don't run behind success, but really run behind talent and building yourself. And that's what I did, and that actually made my parents also realize that it's okay to kind of think about a different field. It's okay to try out something else, and they let me go to a design college after that. So I'm very thankful for that movie actually. But after that, I moved to Mumbai for my design degree, and frankly, when I joined there, I was devastated. I mean, I was very happy, but I was devastated because it was like a culture shock for me, and which actually was the second phase of my life, which I call the vada pav phase, because as you know, Mumbai and vada pav is the favorite dish there, and especially with my college life, I was so occupied with so much going on in my life. I didn't have time to cook. So I just ate vada pav, I think, for all 4 years of my life. And mostly, and yeah, vada pav was my favorite. And mostly, I think I was really occupied because first I became really uncomfortable. I was coming from a small town to this big city, and I really didn't know anything about design. I just accidentally got into. I like to think that I accidentally got into it, but I always enjoyed arts, and I always had an inclination towards it. So I was really surprised that all these students coming there from really big cities, and they have a lot of exposure which I didn't have previously. So it took me some time to kind of adjust with it, but I would say once I like got into my work, I because I was always passionate about design, I realized that I actually got into the right place accidentally. And once I like got into involved in my work, I forgot about all the other things, like being conscious about coming from a small town and all of that. I never thought about it again after that. So that was really interesting change of thought process. And I think college life was extremely busy because I also realized that the placements and everything which I'm gonna get in college, I was like, I didn't I thought it won't be enough for me. I wanted something else. So I studied communication design. I'm sorry. So I started communication design over there for 4 years, but I felt that I want to do something more. So I started working with a lot of clients in Mumbai and even outside. And I started taking up projects and freelance projects. And while I was in college, this gave me a lot of exposure, and I learned a lot basically about how things actually work practically outside of college, and like how to deal with clients, how to really get projects and get things done. So that gave me a lot of confidence, I think. Apart from my college education, I think that really boosted my career. And finally, after that, I think after 4 years, I decided to move to Delhi. And it was the time when we were all looking out for jobs. And I already by that time had a really good, I think, portfolio work. And I had a lot of connections also because I was working already and networking and everything. So I had some opportunities, but finally I decided to join a startup, which was actually Zomato. because I thought that I was very passionate about design, and I thought that it was in its early stages, and I thought that it is going to do really well. And if I join this company right now, I'm going to learn a lot. So I told my parents about it, and they were okay. Um, and then I met that uncle, and I told him that I'm thinking of joining a startup, and he told me that that this is India, and nobody joins startups because they'll just throw you out, and you'll never be able to get a job again. So after talking to him, I kind of became even sure that I want to join a startup, and from there on I moved to Zomato. And frankly, like, that was the first time when you start getting your salary and you feel financially a bit still. And but at the same time, the work was so exciting. I learned a lot again there. I mean, I always like pushed myself to do something extra. And I think Zomato and a startup especially gave me that opportunity to kind of do extra and stand out and learn whatever you want to. So I actually worked on projects which I felt like as a designer were really like kind of challenging for my own skills, but I did them. I took them up, and I also met some mentors in there, which I think I really like. Now I give all my kind of like, I was so inspired by them that I understood what kind of designer I want to be in future, and what kind of designer I don't want to be in future. And that really helped shape my career. I think also I learned that how important is networking, and how important is making friends with people in your kind of domain, because it's always helpful. You can always get to know what's going on around, and what are the good opportunities out there. So that was another thing which I learned. And I call this phase as butter chicken phase because it was Delhi. And the way I lived my life was that I used to work like a dog and party like a tiger. So it was like basically a lot of hard work. And when I would party, there used to be butter chicken always to celebrate, or rajma chawal, right? Because it was Delhi, and you can tell I'm a foodie from all this. So yeah, basically that was the third phase of my life, and finally to moving towards the fourth phase of life, which I called chicken biryani, because what happened was that I got a call from Microsoft, and it was in Hyderabad. And I decided that I worked in a small company. I have been a freelancer for quite a long time. So what have I not tried? So I felt that I've not really tried being working in a really big organization, and I wanted to see how those products are designed, because I think like the kind of user base for products in Microsoft, for that matter, was huge, right? There were millions of users who were using those products every day. So I thought that it will really challenge my capacity to kind of how to build and scale products at that level. So I immediately took that opportunity. I moved to Hyderabad, and I've become a absolute Hyderabadi since then. I love my bowl of biryani, and I absolutely, I think, enjoy working. I think that phase in that phase of my life, I realized how important it is to like have a balance, because till now, till that time, I was just extremely focused on my career, which was a good thing. But I also learned that how important is it to at the same time to take care of your health as a women. As women, I think it's extremely important to take care of your health. I realized it a bit later, because I just didn't think about it earlier. And later on, I kind of understood that if I do not take care of my health, it will affect my work, it will affect different parts of my life. So I started taking care of my health and wellness, and got into different types of things like meditation, working out, and all that. So I think that really changed inside me, or I would say that is something I like take away for all my life. And finally, I think now I've moved to. Last year, I joined Google in during COVID. It was a very different kind of transition because it all happened while I was in working from home and everything. But I think it was always my dream job, as every, I think, designer. Most of them really want to join Google ultimately, and also I think it was challenging in some ways. Working in tech industry for me, because particularly tech is a, I would say, we all know that it's male dominated industry. So but I think that's changing absolutely. So if you're thinking of it, go for it, because it's changing now. Things are changing, and people are more welcoming and more open towards seeing women in leadership roles, and that's what I think also learning nowadays. And yeah, I mean, I've realized that nothing is really going to stop you if you want to really try something different. Don't get bogged down by the criticism, because if you try something different, there will definitely be criticism which will come with it. So that was like one thing. That is my one, I'd say, mantra which I keep in mind always. So whenever I feel like I'm just walking the same path as I feel like others are doing, then I ask myself, is it truly my own path? And if the answer is yes, I go for it. If it's no, then I challenge myself and I think that, hey, what exactly do I want to do? And that's what I think. Like my message is to everyone who's watching. Yeah, that's all I shared. I think that was the mostly the important parts of my life which I wanted to share. So thank you so much.
So, thank you so much, ma'am. And one thing is clear that you can't just eat good food. You have to got to talk to about it. You know, so that was really impressive of you, ma'am, to relate your life with such an interesting topic. Thank you so much, ma'am. And surely I'm gonna eat vada pav after this stream. So next, we look forward for the presence of ma'am Sana ma'am to enlighten us with her views. Ma'am, please.
Hi there. Firstly, Charu, you've really got me craving some dal chawal and biryani now. So I'm expecting a delivery to my place. But firstly, a big thank you to the entire team at Golab Ehsas for having us all over here for this amazing initiative. I would have really hoped if I was at that age where I was kind of figuring things out, wanting to know which way I could head to. I would have loved to have a platform like this to actually look up to. So a big thank you to you guys for organizing this. And Tanya and Anuradha and Karen, amazing, and really inspiring stories there. Mine is, firstly, it's not a story, it's just my experiences up till now. But mine is slightly different. The initial phases, though, like Tanya and Anuradha mentioned, they had slightly challenging beginnings to start with. Mine was fairly different. I was and still am blessed enough to have been born in a very supportive family, and have led a fairly privileged lifestyle where they ensured that I had everything that I would need or wanted. But at the same time, there's one thing that my entire family always pressurized and pushed for was a good education, for you to stand on your own feet, and for you to live up to what you stand for and follow your passion. These were the four things that I was always taught, no matter how privileged they did make us feel at times. So that was me growing up till the time that I decided to leave the country and move to England for to pursue my undergraduation. I was there for a few years. I studied there, came back with a business degree, and that's when I decided. So since coming from a family business background, one part of me all through my life, ever since I was a kid, knew that it is this very business that has sort of funded everything in my life. It is this very business that puts the food on our plates every day. So I knew at some point I had to give back to this family business, although no one in my family ever pressurized me to do so. So when I came back from England after having secured a graduation business degree there, I decided to come and join this family business. Not gonna lie, and everyone in my family knows this as well, that was not my passion. And till date, it probably isn't my passion. I may be good at it, I may be doing a good job at it, but my passion and my calling has always been in the field of environment. It has always been about leading a healthy and happy lifestyle, which I personally do through yoga. And in England, ever since I was a kid, I used to see my dad practice yoga every morning. But it was when I was in England that I was really sort of looking for an out for all my energy. Similar to what Anuradha said, I'm extremely hyper. I just cannot sit in one place. In fact, I'm not going to lie for 2 minutes during the video. When I was very properly listening to what you guys were saying, I was jumping around because that's how hyper I am. But I just had to find a way to channelize my energy. And one part of me just always keeps coming up with these different ventures and initiatives and campaigns to work on. So I have always been a part of sort of starting different ventures and all through my life up till now. But it was when I was in England, I sort of realized and noticed there was this sense of community over there. So whenever I used to go for a yoga class over there, there was always a sense of community there. People used to stick around even after the class, meet, talk, share their interests, which is what I found was lacking when I came back here. And that is when I decided to start a venture called Community Embark. And the only idea behind it was to sort of create communities around shared interests. So be it how Tanya spoke about storytelling or being in the creative field. So basically sort of create these interest groups who can meet, catch up, and talk about their interests so that it's not alien to those who really don't understand what you're talking about or what you like. I didn't find it comfortable to go up to a group of friends who don't give a shit about the environment and actually start talking to them and telling them about the environment every now and then. So that was the idea behind starting Community Embark. And then came COVID, and the pandemic happened, lockdown happened, because of which we were not able to continue Embark in the way we wanted to, in the way we had planned it would go on as. And that time period gave me that I got a lot of time to actually rethink how it should go on, what we should be doing. And that's when I fell back on yoga again. I realized that was my true calling, that was my passion. And just the sole purpose of inspiring people, it was probably less than 12 months ago when I decided to start a handle on Instagram and to simply, there was just one goal, and the goal is still the same till date, which is to inspire, even if I can inspire a single person to live a healthier lifestyle, which does not mean that you have to roll out your yoga mats and start doing Surya Namaskars right now. That's not the idea. The idea was just to inspire even a single person to live a healthier lifestyle, just to move your body, pick up any exercise, no matter what it may be. It could be a 10-minute dance routine every single morning, irrespective, or eat healthier food, anything of that sort. But yeah, that was the idea, and we started less than a year ago, and I have a beautiful family of about 20,000 followers now, which is not what I was expecting when I started off at all. A lot of people now, when they approach me, they refer to the handle as being that of an influencer, and I have till date stuck by the fact that I am no influencer, but the only thing that I aspire to be is an inspirer. That's it. I don't think that word exists, but that's what we're here for. And that brings me to the only message I want to share tonight. You don't have to follow the path that has been taken on several times. Just because there are a gazillion influencers there doesn't mean you have to be an influencer. You can be an inspirer in a world of influencers. even though that word may not exist. You're the one who's going to create it. So the one thing that I've learned up till date is that stay true to your passion. Yes, you do have to work on something to ensure you have a stable income and a stable livelihood. You do have to do that, but just never, never, never give up on your passion. No matter how what stage of life you're in, just try and hold on to your passion, because it will reward you and it will be there for you in the toughest of times. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I hope you guys good luck in whatever you do. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I would like to quote something that is: success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So, ma'am, you have taught us that with your journey, and thank you so much for joining us. So, next up, it is my privilege to invite Pragati ma'am to the stage. Ma'am, can you please come?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I? Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Totally.
So, hey everyone, this is Pragati Gupta, and firstly, thanks for the invitation. So, I'm a full-time freelancer, and I am. Firstly, I would like to say, like, I'm super inspired by your stories, and more power to you. So, like, coming to my story, I'm a 24-year-old entrepreneur. Not a full-time freelancer. I would say entrepreneur because I don't think freelancing is any different from entrepreneurship. Now, going back, I'm a single child, and that was the reason, like, I was pampered a lot. But being a single child, I would say it has both pros and cons, negative side too, because I believe like your parents have really high expectations from you. So you really need to work hard to meet those expectations. Okay, just a second. Yeah. So talking about my family, I believe talking about my family, my mom is a businesswoman and my biggest inspiration. So I was grown up in a business family. So there was a mindset like I never wanted to do this 9 to 5 thing, and I always wanted to do something more. So, but while you are in school, you are not at that point like you can think of something like what you want to do after 10 years or like let's say 20. What do you want to do when you turn 25? So I really didn't have that clarity in my mind. But just after I completed my schooling, I went for a conventional path, that is like doing BCom and then going for like MBA. So I did that because honestly my friends were doing, so I thought like this is the only way that I would be able to earn money and like be like that definition of settling down in your life. So that will be okay path. So I was not completely satisfied with what I was doing, but at the end, like the MBA in marketing, that was completely that I wanted to do because marketing is something that I'm really crazy about. I'm crazy about this marketing, branding, and literally everything that comes under it. So it was all going good. I was placed in a company. The job was amazing, but then what I wanted was like that the thing that I was going through from my childhood, that I want to do something more than a 9 to 5 thing. So while all this was going on, I hit the rock bottom in my life. And that's when I left my 9 to 5 job without having a clue of what I want to do next in my life. So it was in 2019, July 2019, that I left my 9 to 5 job. And I didn't have anything in my hand. Like I didn't have any clue also. So at 20, at that point, I literally faced a lot of criticism, and that was like really coming from very close friends of mine. So that was really heartbreaking. And as a 22-year-old, I don't think I was in a position to handle all that criticisms. So it was like approximately 5 to 6 months that it all continued. And at 22, I learned a biggest lesson in my life, that nothing is in the life is permanent, and change is the only constant thing. So there's one quote from Abraham Lincoln that literally became my motto of my life. That is like, "This too shall pass." So at that point, this was the only thing in my mind. Like it will go away. Everything will pass away. This anxiety, depression, and everything that I'm facing right now, that will eventually go away. So that point, I was just recalling this thing like whatever worst could have ever happened, it did, and now what more can happen? So while all this uncertainty that was going on in my life, I stepped into another world of uncertainty that is freelancing. So just after it was all going well, but just after 4 5 months came this pandemic situation. And to be very honest, like the other people who were in freelancing, they were kind of scared, but honestly deep inside I knew uh, that this is not something I should be worrying about. And honestly, that didn't scare me at that point, because I was like, okay, I have managed to come out of that 5 months or 6 months of phase of anxiety. So I'll definitely manage this. And eventually I did. So I started focusing on building my personal brand, and it's been like 10 to 11 months since I'm there on LinkedIn. And yesterday itself, I crossed 75K followers. And I'm working currently as a full-time freelancer, content creator, and copywriter. So in short, I help businesses to boost their sales with the help of content. So in this 1.5 year, I would say I worked with more than 45 companies worldwide. Let's say, like, whenever I get on a client call, they're always like, what made you switch or step into this career, like take up this freelancing or writing thing? So the only thing is, like, I always had this inclination towards writing, plus I always wanted this something more than this 9 to 5 job. So combining all this plus my interest in marketing field, so copywriting is kind of combining your advertising skills plus your writing skills. So combining that, I do this copywriting thing. So while I turned 23, I learned another biggest lesson. So all this while I was like coaching a few new freelancers who were just stepping into the world of freelancing in the terms of like how to price their services, how to like get clients through LinkedIn, how to build their personal brand, and all such things. And at that point, I realized that there are bigger problems in life. Like what I was going through was literally, I would say, like 1%, or let's say 0.1% of what others are going through. So when you talk to other people, when you widen your perspective, I believe you get to know more about them, and you get to realize like there are so many things, like people are actually fighting their own battles, and you need to be really kind to everyone, because honestly nothing feels better than making a positive impact in someone's life. And coming more, like, I'm currently 24. So at 24, the another major learning that I got is like you need to face criticisms. Like if you are an entrepreneur or a freelancer, or let's say even a person who is in a 9 to 5 job, you will be facing criticisms. The one thing that you need to keep in mind is you never need to take this criticisms personally. Like never take this professional criticisms personally, because like let's say I'm a writer and it's a creative field. So when someone says like it is like this writing piece is not something I am looking for or something like that, so it is just I tell to myself that it is okay, it's okay, like their requirements is not matching with my writing style or something like that, but it is not something they are commenting on my personal thing. So it is never like you should never take this personally. So this is the second biggest learning I have ever got. And at this point, like I'm currently coaching a few new freelancers and all. So as a part of like giving back to the society. So I would like to conclude in a way like it is okay to follow unconventional path. I did BCom, I did MBA. Writing was never a part of my life, though I was writing, but it was never a part like I would be building a career out of it. So it is okay to follow unconventional path till you are confident in yourself. Till you believe you can do it, you can of course go for it. Life is short. Be happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I would like to quote this as, if you have a heartbeat, there's still time for your dreams. So thank you, ma'am. You have taught us that we should just go for it. Whatever we want to do, we should just go for it, and there is no stopping us then. Uh, Thank you, Pragati ma'am. And with equal pleasure, I would like to invite our last but not the least guest, Miss Dimple, to illuminate us with her thoughts. Ma'am, please.
So, can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Now I guess
Okay.
not.
Just give me a moment.
Yes, no,
Can you
it's
see me,
okay.
right? All right. Okay.
Ma'am, actually, think it's now the rear one. Yep, now it's okay.
Okay. So, firstly, to thanks so much to Gunjan for reaching out to me, and Saransh as well. And it has been so amazing listening to all of you girls and all the ladies out here. Okay, give me a moment. Can I just bring this full screen on mine?
You can pin yourself if you want to.
How do you even do that? I'm so bad with all these.
Just scroll your. You can just scroll your cursor on your the compartment thing. There's a option to pin to screen.
Okay, it's good if you can see and talk. All right. So it was really amazing listening to all the ladies out here, and especially I think Karen. I think you have gone through a lot, and the way you seem so confident, and the way you were sharing your stuff. For two, I don't think you appeared broken to anybody. You appeared rock solid and only brave. And I never felt that you are camera shy. I always felt that you're so comfortable in front of your camera. So it was great listening to all the ladies out here, very inspiring. And yeah, it's
मैम
finally my turn.
मैम थोड़ा सा माइक आप थोड़ा पास रख लीजिएगा, थोड़ा आवाज कम आ रही है. Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So my journey, uh, when Gunjan reached out to me, actually I was thinking about something. I'm a spiritual healer, so to me, synchronicities do matter. I do talk with universe and all those things, listen to my intuition, and I give a push to inner voice of my clients. So when Gunjan reached out to me, I was thinking about my 18-year-old self, how I used to be as an 18-year-old. And I was like, why I was so scared as a 18-year-old. Mm, and my story, whatever I share, is going to be more of all the psychological drama that used to go in my head as a confused 18-year-old, trying to have figured out the whole thing, the whole life, just as I take a plunge into the adult world, not going wrong, having figured out everything, not a step here and there, and, just like go on doing the right things at the right time. Mm, Getting into the college, the best of the college, then getting into the MNC job, the dream that we dream with that particular package that we always want, and then getting married, and then all things having figured it out. But the problem with life is that we cannot figure it out. So from being totally directionless in my life to finding, venturing out to find my own direction, to finding my direction, and then being fortunate enough today to guide people who reach out to me for direction, life has somewhat come full circle. I would admit that. So let's get back to what I was talking about. As an 18-year-old, I was very fearful, very scared to do anything. And I would tell this to if there is any 18-year-old here that live a little more fearless life. Believe in yourself. You are not supposed to have, figured out everything just as you step into this world to create your own dreams, goals, life, whatever you want to create. Because I remember that I always wanted to be safe, doing things safe, and never wanting to go wrong in life. And the more I wanted to be safe, the more wrong I was getting in life. The more falls, the more blockages, the more failures. And I was like, what is it happening? Didn't I ask everybody? I asked, took suggestions from everybody. Every intelligent person I thought around me could guide me on the right path so that I have, figured out life perfectly. The more life was going wrong. So I was always interested in being a journalist. That was around like 2008 and 9, I think. But this scared me, who was so scared to dream, but always wanted to be in control of life. We talk about, are you in control of your life or not? So I was just the same person. I wanted to be in control of life. I wanted to control the life. And the problem with life is the more you want to control it, the more it slips out from your hand. So I always wanted to be a journalist, and we were like, okay, fine, journalist, who knows whether I'm going to be successful or not. And then, as usual, it was like I went for what everybody goes for it. I went for an MBA with not that much of passion into it, but it was like, okay, yeah, I think, it will take care of my stability, which all, we make this mistake of going for stability over choosing our dreams. Um, not taking that leap of faith on our dreams. So finally, I chose a safer path of doing an MBA. And as the life would have it, it threw a googly on me, and I passed out of my MBA in 2008 when there was a recession the world around. Now, all the jobs with that dream package went kaput. There was nothing. There was no job at all in the market. But luckily, I got a job somewhere. I had people who passed out in 2009 were more strict than that. So I managed to get a job. After that 1 year, there was again, which everybody was struggling with the job. Finally, I went after 1 year. I went to another mid-sized IT company. Their life was still better than what this was. And then life was okay, fine, doing it. I had already compromised on my dream. Didn't want to think about the dream. Okay, it was going on. Then again, I worked here 3 years and then moved on to another MNC. Now, MNC life is great. Okay, all the great. You get a cab, you get on the cab, and you have those water cooler talks, and life is fun and happening, and you have those weekend parties, and life was more like living weekend to weekend. Now, if you see on that front, it was okay, but mm, somebody who always had this thing like कुछ तो करना है life, that fire was still there, and that was not getting satisfaction. So as it would have, it got, I was feeling a little dissatisfaction with what is happening. It's not that great. So dissatisfaction was brewing inside somewhere. And I started my journey, that break from the corporate and starting on my own in 2015 was a transformative period for me where I knew that a storm is coming, and call that I will have to listen. So 2016, I left my job in this MNC. I took a break to explore life because I was not happy with the way things were going on. Um, the that kind of a recognition or the achievement that I was craving for, I was not getting that. Had I got that, I wouldn't have left my MNC job or the 9 to 5 job that we call. I never had a problem with the 9 to 5 job, but the thing is that I was not getting the kind of success I had in my mind. So, with the help of my husband, who has always been a guiding person, I took chance for once in my life on my dreams, and not like I'm taking a chance. I just kind of took a break from what I was doing, thinking that I will come back to this job again. And then I started exploring things, reading. I've always been very interested in reading and knowing new things. You can say that I was hit by this Jupiter energy. Mm. Jupiter energy is the energy of expansion is the biggest planet in the solar system. So when you are hit by this Jupiter energy, you have this craving for higher learning, more and more learning. But what was different this time was that earlier also I was working, but that time I had this baggage of getting things right, of this, in no way, falling short of my peers or, these, your mosses and chatis and your cousins. They are always your competition, the way they tell you and they portray you. So they also, at that time also I was working, but this time for once I was working baggage free. I didn't have to prove anything to anybody. Already we were all distant. No more chatty mommy coming here and there. So a free life. Uh, I took this plunge into the unknown, uncertain, without expecting anything. I was completely directionless in my life. I could, in a way, I had hit the rock bottom, yes, And yes, my husband guided me to do whatever you feel like. You're a creative person, you're an intuitive person, you're not meant for this corporate thing. And I said, okay, fine, try. I'll do things, no more targets, no more things, free life. I was learning, and all those things happened. And wow, when I leaped into this unknown, I never knew that I was heading to a treasure at the end of the rainbow. I not only found myself, but I found so many people all around the world who connected to me with through me for my services. And when they showed belief in me, confidence in me, I was like, "ये क्या हो रहा है?" I started finding myself. So this is pretty much the journey that I am going through. I went through, and then in this journey, I found out many things. That take faith, take risk with your dreams. Okay, because what happens is we want to have figured out life so much. Not we don't want to go wrong with the life. The problem with life is that you have come here to experience it, not to have figured out life. That is the big problem that we make with life. We want everything figured out. Right at 18 years, it's समय पे we want retirement, it's समय पे we want this, it's समय पे we want so much of money in our bank account. We want all those things. And in this process, we forget to live life. Because I'll tell you one, I'll repeat the same thing that all of us know that we are not taking these money, whatever the money in your bank account, we're not taking all these things to our when we are done with this life. So what are we basically taking with us? Are we taking these experiences with us? So if this is the experience that we are taking with us, then why are we not, gathering upon the experience? And experience is not just the positives. Experience is everything. It's your failures and it's your success. It's your light and it's your dark. Both the shades. That is what makes life, gives duality and polarity to life, makes it full circle. And I was so scared of failing, of being rejected, somebody rightly pointed out, because rejections are something that really builds you up. Rejections to me, I would say that it is just universe telling you that you deserve better. So don't try to figure out life, okay? Live it. You are here to you are here on this roller coaster ride to live every bit of it. So don't try to have figured it out. You will have to take chances on your talent. Okay? Believe in yourself. Because what happens when you are believing on others, you are taking their advices, you are making the mistakes anyhow. Now what happens? You are making the mistakes of others' advices on you. You are basically a guinea pig. So it's better that you make your own mistakes and learn from it. Because anyways, you will have to go back to the drawing board and start making, doing the corrections and living your own dreams and making your own mistakes and learning from there. So it's your life. You have the power to design it, and you are perfectly endowed with all the talent you need to live your dream. Because one thing that really, two things I would want to end this sharing with you guys is that once when I was going through my transformation, I used to binge a lot on motivational videos, and at that time I had come across J.K. Rowling's speech. I think she had given this in Harvard or Stanford, I don't remember. But this is something that really stuck with me. That don't be so cautious of living your life that you almost forget to live life. Yeah. So this is something pretty much my case it was. And the another thing is that um a line by Paul Coelho in Alchemist, where he says that a lot of us don't believe in our dreams. We feel that what is this crazy stuff happening? But I truly believe that if you have that crazy dream somewhere lingering in your heart, it is given birth by the universe in your heart. And you are perfectly endowed with all the talent, goddamn, you need in this world to bring that dream up. So believe in yourself, be yourself. Your only superpower is you. You got to do it your way. There's no other way you can copy it and you can replicate their success. You got to do it yourself. So with that, I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to come in and sharing my experience here. It's been such a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And you have taught us that the afterlife is how you are remembered by the living. So that is surely a great thing to know. And I would like to say this, that you have such a calm and composure way of talking, that no, it's no doubt that you can connect to our soul so easily. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody
And
connects. Everybody connects.
and moreover, you have all taught us that the difficulties you face in the life do not come to destroy you, but to show you what are you made of and just how strong you are. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone, and thank you, ma'am. Now we'll just proceed further with our another round, that is the interactive one, or as I say it, as a Q&A round. So I would like to call out on Dhairya and Gunjan to take this forward. Thank you so much, everyone.
So,
Gunjan, you are not audible. Yes, yes, yes.
Sorry. Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you for that question. It's a lovely question because I often ask myself that. If today, if you ask me this question, I think the thing I would want to tell the 10-year-old self is not to take myself too seriously. I say this a lot. I say this very, very often, that we are all a very tiny speck in this large universe. This universe does not revolve around us. We take ourselves way too seriously. So let's sort of cut ourselves some slack also. Like I said in my initial speech, it's okay to make mistakes. We are here to make mistakes. At the same time, we must be more acceptable of other people's mistake. So another thing that I did mention is that a lot of times we are projecting our internal pain in our reactions. And since everybody is doing that, when somebody at some point in time might snap at you or might be a little rude to you, it's not because they intend to hurt you, it's because they are dealing with their own frustrations. So let's cut everybody slack, let's cut ourselves some slack and not take ourselves too seriously. That would be my advice to my 10-year-old self. Is that directed to me as well? Hi, Gunjan, do you want me to answer that question as well? All right. So my biggest inspiration, as I always say, is my mother. She has been my pillar of strength through thick and thin. She's a very successful entrepreneur, having gone through everything that she's gone through. So I think she's my biggest inspiration and my biggest support system. She's always supported my dreams and everything that I've done.
So, good evening, everyone. So, my questions will be to Anuradha ma'am.
Sure.
So, good evening, ma'am.
Hi there, yeah, good evening.
So, my first question is, what is one thing that you feel will help the society to change in a way that gives equal respect to all genders?
Wonderful. Dharya, very, very good question. And I think everybody would like to jump on to answer to it because we are all women who are trying to make it big in this society, a men's society, I'll call it. So the most important thing I would say for us is tolerance. There has to be tolerance. Women don't need to be nudged around and always being told what to do, what not to do, what to wear, how to talk, how to react, how to respond. Everything we are being taught from the very childhood. The day a girl is, I mean, if it come to, I'm sure that people would even counsel an infant and tell the girl child to cry slow. That's the kind of unjust happening in the society. So I would say, if we want to be gender equal, the most important thing is tolerance towards what a person's real personality is, not always judging people. And yeah, tolerance is what I would say, because I am counseling a lot of parents these days, and I'm counseling teachers, students also, kids of 17 years, 19 years. So most of the times it is the parents who need to know that, please, if your child doesn't have friends, if your child is an introvert, doesn't mean that he will be successful in life. So I think we all need to be tolerant towards different colors, different hairstyles, different dress up, different speech, different thought process. मैं बह जाऊंगी. I get carried away, so let's stop here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shoot your next question there. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your
Okay.
great answer. So I would like to hand
Thank
over
you.
to Gunjan.
Sure.
Yeah. So my blog is, it serves as my online diary. So I share there my life experiences. So yeah, just like sharing since my childhood, you know, and then when I got married, and stuff like that. And then what else did I share there? Mostly my life experiences, and then also some advices that I put in there. So it's really like every day I put it there, why what I do for the day, or what's my life as a VA is. So basically, I also share also there, like how I started working as a VA. So yeah, and also since blogging was my gateway, where I started working as a VA. So really, it all started there. Since like what I have said before, last 2010, that was the time when blogging was so popular. So we are like, that's also the time when I gained some friends from blogging. Not only because we have here in our local city, we have a blogging community where all of us were gathered together, and when there is an event, like we're gonna, because we are sort of like a blogger influencer type of thing, where we get invited. Uh, for example, there's a certain opening of a restaurant or any company that is opening, we're invited to go there and promote the products as well. So that's where it started, and since then I also gain I earn money from blogging also through direct advertisers, where uh, the advertisers are directly contacting me on my blog or through my blog, where they want to promote their products and services. So of course, in exchange for a compensation or a free products where we get to try. And yeah, so yeah, my thing really is like blogger influencing. So that's where I started, and that's why I love blogging. Also, still I'm still working on it until now. Yeah. Sure, sure. Okay.
So my next question will be to Charu ma'am.
Yep.
So ma'am, my question to you is that you can you tell about any tips or or advices for young and aspiring UI UX designers so that they can also make to their dream companies?
Sure. I think my one tip would be that a lot of times young designers, I think, get really carried away by bookish processes or um, theoretical processes, and they kind of are really occupied with it, and it cannot think out of the box at times. And I think that is something which should change. And like, if you're a young designer, I think in fact you have a lot more freedom and a lot more time to explore. So I would say that you can easily push yourself to do different types of projects and try out, like, even in design as a designer, there are so many different skill sets which you can kind of learn. Like, I mean, if you're a UI UX designer, you could be either a really good visual designer or a really good thinker, or could be that you want to really grow into somebody who's good at interaction or animations, right? Like all these smaller things. So you can try out everything and then make a choice. Don't get too stuck with a given process or a given kind of maybe like theoretical way of doing things. That's my one tip to young designers.
Thank you, ma'am, for your such a great answer. So my next question to you is that you made it to the dream companies like Microsoft and Google. So can you tell about your profile or resume tips so that we can also made to such a dream company for UI and UX design?
Profile or resume, I'm assuming that is more related to your portfolio and resume. I think because I think my mainly I would say that the first answer which I gave was like around pushing yourself to do different types of projects. I think that's again very important here when you're building your resume or your portfolio for any company, or for even for yourself if you want to work independently. I think it's important to have a clear USP for yourself. Like, what's your unique selling point? Make sure that you have that defined. You have that clear. What are your basically your own principles in life, and what do you stand for as a designer? That should really reflect in your portfolio, your projects you're doing, your thinking should reflect from that. Your resume, in fact, um, so that your USP should come out of it. Don't just make it like don't just take a template from internet and just like copy it. Make it your own. So that is my advice.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a great answers.
Thank you.
And I will like to ask another question to Sana ma'am.
Yep, I'm here.
So my question is to that how does practice give you roots to your daily life?
Give a boost, did you say? Boost to my daily life.
Roots to your
How does practicing? Okay, well, first things first, I think one of the things I've always stuck by is that your yoga practice will always come to you. You will never go towards it. So, like I mentioned before, as a kid, I always used to practice yoga with my dad every day. But at that time, it never really meant to me until the time that I was really looking for something to channelize my energy towards. And that's when the practice came back to me. And it it became my go-to space. It became my comfort zone. It was just those 40 to 50 minutes on that mat every single day. That was my space. And like I mentioned earlier, that is what yoga practice does for me, but it's not necessary that it would be the same for everyone else. But it's important for you to create that space or find that passion so that you can inculcate that in your daily life. So, for instance, for Anuradha, it's probably how she said mentoring, coaching, and helping people. That is her go to, her comfort. For Charu, it could be designing something really creative, like she said. That is her go to, her comfort. So for me, similarly, for me, it's yoga. That's my go to comfort, and it's that one part of my day that I just cannot do without, because I know it's my me time, it's my space, and I know no one can take that away from me. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, ma'am. This one is an interesting question. That what are future opportunities in your field?
Future opportunities in my field. So this is very interesting because in October 2019, I attended a yoga retreat somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Kerala for a week, and I was there with about 25 foreigners, and I was one among the three other Indians. In South India at a yoga retreat. Sounds very strange because it's something which is part of our culture and heritage, but that entire retreat and ashram was full of foreigners. And there was a Swamiji over there who's the main head at the ashram, and he told me, this is before I started my Instagram handle, he told me that if you stay true to your practice and if you it's genuinely your passion, there's nothing that you can't do without it, and you can actually create a livelihood out of it. And he pointed towards all the international students there. So I feel like in this field of health and fitness, it's an international audience because everyone, every single day of the week, is trying their level best to get healthier, to get fitter, and to live a less sedentary lifestyle. So there's scope for so much in terms of becoming a trainer, in terms of running your own retreats, in terms of guiding and coaching people, or even starting your own yoga studio. And as far as the social media space is concerned, there's a lot in terms of what I previously said, and the word I do not agree with at all is that of an influencer. If you stay true to your passion and the content that you create, if that actually helps and inspires people, there's a long, long way for you to go there as well.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a great answers. So my next question is to Pragati, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So my question is to that you told about that about your freelance journey. So can you tell about what soft skills are required for such as reaching out to client or facing an interview related to more focused on soft skills?
Okay. Firstly, there is no such interview. I would rather say it's a discovery call. So just like you need to be prepared with everything, just like let's say in the vivas that they were in schools and colleges. So you never know what question a client throws at you. So you need to be prepared at it. So you need to be good at, like, let's say whichever field you belong to. Let's say if you're a graphic designer, if you're a content writer, copywriter, or whatsoever. So you need to have firstly a good communication skills, negotiating skills, and various other skills. Let's say you need to have, like, firstly the most important thing is you need to have good convincing and persuading skills in order to convince a client in order to convert that particular client. So yeah, these are the few soft skills. And hard skills, technical skills, of course you need to have that.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a great answer. So my
Personality. Okay. Um, Personality, I think after all the basic stuff that you have learned from the book, that the introvert and basically, I think there was a question about introvert and extrovert. Introvert and extrovert is not a personality trait, because just a one. If you see a person, introvert person is not always introvert. There is a circle with which, when he is in that circle, he feels very expressive. So when it comes to personality, I feel that I would say know thyself. What Plato said about that moralistic philosophy. How will you be yourself if you don't know yourself? So go within, listen to your inner voice. We waste good chunk of our life learning to everybody. We think they are right. They will guide us on the right path. There is no right path. There are still, ups and downs and all kind of things happen. So take chance on yourself. Know thyself. You have come on this earth. God created you, there must be some reason why he created, the infinitesimal intelligence, universe. The way universe works is so balanced, not a one thing goes here and there. This earth is rotating on some axis, but never does it. Have you ever felt that, the earth is dropping somewhere? No. So there is a lot of science, a lot of intelligence behind we having born at the right place at the right time to the right people. All we have to do is go within and explore ourselves, know ourselves, listen to that inner voice. All the time we are listening to the noise outside and we don't care for that little timid inner voice that is telling you, do this, it's okay, you will be fine, you will be okay, you will somehow escape all things and everything is going to be fine. But the thing is, we so much focus on the outside, we compare, we want to be in control of life. Your life is not in control of you. How many times have we listened this? Take control of your life. You have let that go. But I think we are, waking up to this inner call, taking a break from all the noise outside and listening to us because then only we will find out what is this inner voice telling me, what I'm good at. Okay, should I take chance on this? Let's do this. Live a little fearless life and let your personality come out. How will it come out when you're not trying this and you're scared of almost trying everything? How will your personality come and shine? Through ups and downs, finally you get there, no? So that is it. I will say, do again, listen to yourself, listen to that timid voice. It knows everything. And that's how your personality comes up. Read a lot and listen to these leaders. I don't know what's all this about influencers and all. Where are the leaders? Bring on the leaders. Listen to them. We have to take a break from this viral effect. We all want to go viral. But do you remember any viral trend? We remember viral trends, but viral trends don't repeat themselves, no? But legacies are created and we refer to them and we revere legacies and it's here for us to stay even when we are gone. The legacy stays on. So I would rather say that we should work on, creating a legacy, which takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of sweat and blood, but then it's worth it. Viral trend is one day here and one day here, nobody knows it. Know thyself. Thank you. You're doing some great stuff, Gunjan. I've got to tell you, kudos to you. You are already living high on your dreams, organizing these things. I think you are living a fearless life. You are taking chances on your dreams, and I see you doing great stuff. Yeah, we learned all a lot. Mm. Thank you so much to you guys for organizing this, putting so much of effort into it, and of course all the guests who are here who shared inspiring stories. Thank you.
I think our speakers are camera shy. Yeah. Ah. Karen, Pragati, Tanya, can you please switch on your cameras?
Can you see
I
me?
think the others have left also. Some of them have left.
Okay.
Okay, ready for a pitch. Okay.
Ma'am, ma'am, if you are listening, then please ask. Please, can I ask one question? Ma'am, anybody tells, or you especially you, that how to talk English influently. मतलब, मैम कॉन्फिडेंटली बात नहीं कर पाता हूँ इंग्लिश में. मैम 2 मिनट थोड़ा उस पर बता दीजिए.
Uh, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
ma'am.
Kunjan, you want to answer or should I answer that? All right. Abhinav, if I hold your neck and I put it in water, right? I'm
Yes, ma'am.
holding your neck and I'll put it in water. And what
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the one thing you will need? अगर
मैम
मैंने आपकी
only.
गर्दन पानी में डाल दी, क्या एक चीज?
यस मैम. मैम सांस लेने की बस
Sorry.
वो लग रही होगी, केवल सांस आ जाए बस.
सही पकड़े हो
Only
अभिनव, बस
air.
यही है. When you really want to speak in English, when you are sent in the mid of all the foreigners who are only speaking in one language, which is English, you will learn
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
So how will you learn it then? By practicing it. So you need to eat, sleep, and whatever English. You can read a lot. There are a lot of books. You should always be around books. If you keep behind me, there are all books, right? So start reading newspaper, talk to people in whatever kind of English you are speaking. Tutti futti English bhi chalegi.
Yes, ma'am.
But practice, as much as you practice, you will learn it. Pizza order karte ho, try to speak in English. You won't be shy because you don't know the person on the other side of phone. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
everything is about practice. टूटी इंग्लिश बोलते हो, किसी को हंसा रहे हो, don't be embarrassed about it. But English is
Yes.
it's just a language, and you can only learn by reading, writing, and practicing. You have to speak. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Kunjan. It was really nice talking to you and joining this entire panel. Amazing panel. Thank you.
I too would want to answer Abhinav. I think he wanted some.
Yes, ma'am. आ गया समझ में. Great initiative.
मैं कुछ बात करना चाहती हूँ आपसे. आपको अंग्रेजी बोलने का ये है ना?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो भाई हम हिंदुस्तान में रहते हैं, तो अगर हम इंग्लिश अगर हम बिल्कुल फ्लुएंट इंग्लिश नहीं भी बोले तो चलना चाहिए ना?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, English is only a language, not a
Only a language. It's
जैसे
only a language.
not a status.
Yes, never. लेकिन स्टिल एक तो सबसे पहले तो ये रखो कि अगर हिंदी नहीं आता है और हिंदुस्तान में है और हिंदी नहीं आता है तो कोई क्राइम नहीं है. नंबर वन थिंग. अब ठीक है, चलो
Yes,
मुझे
ma'am.
फिर भी बात करना है हिंदी में, इंग्लिश में बात
Yes,
करना है,
ma'am.
तो थोड़ी इंग्लिश बोलो, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? अंग्रेज तो इतना टूटा फूटा हिंदी बोलते हैं, हम तो कभी उससे नहीं प्रॉब्लम करते हैं, इतने हंस रहे हैं ना.
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
देखो यार, दुनिया तो हंसती है. ओके, कुछ भी करो कि अगर किसी को हंसना है तो दे विल हंसो. So just go, तुमको you have, this is your thing, no, you have to don't make mistakes. कोई भी चीज आप मिस्टेक कर करके ही सीखोगे. दूसरी चीज तो
Yes, ma'am.
Don't be scared of making mistakes and all that. People will laugh. Let them laugh. You are working on something. You are putting out your karma over there. ठीक है ना? तीसरी चीज है, I will give you a very practical example.
Yes, ma'am.
To add on to, of course, what the other guest has said. आप
Yes, ma'am.
YouTube पे जाओ और Thomas and Friends करके एक सीरीज आती है. It's a very beautiful series जहाँ पे बहुत छोटे छोटे sentences वो लोग बोलते हैं and conversational English उसमें बोलते हैं. ठीक है? आप वो अगर देखोगे
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
स्टोरी तो पता चलेगा, but you will also get very good British English. Thomas and Friends is a cartoon series made in English. उसमें छोटे छोटे sentences होते हैं. It will give you,